Welcome to Abandoned Albums, the documentary podcast. Each week, our intrepid group of researchers and music archivists dig through the record crates of the world, finding those albums that may have been lost over time. If a new artist is discovered along the way, that's all the better. Using a patent-pending algorithm and spirited debate, we pick one album to discuss. Once that is settled, we will invite the artists to Thunder Love Studio to chat with your hosts, Keith R. Higgins and Jeff Calhoun. When we're lucky, they say yes. Our mission with Abandoned Albums is simple: to make sure artists' recorded work remains, or in some cases, lands on, the cultural radar. We invite you to sit back and relax. Thank you for joining us.
Circling, hit rewind, relive the memory 100 times. Nothing can go back, just keep pushing. Not circling, hit rewind, relive the memory 1,000 times. Nothing can go back, just keep pushing.
Your favorite band from Miami, Florida.
Dude, for real, Keith. This is the easiest sales pitch in the world would be for you to say, hey, Jeff, let's take the Pixies when Kim Deal was the lead singer, or the Breeders, but take your pick. Marry that with some Veruca Salt, like double female harmonies, add that to some drop D chords with heavy fuzz, like hum style chords, add the production of Torch, put that shit in a blender, like inject it straight into my veins. It's instantly gonna be my favorite band in the world. And Las Nubes hit it out of the park. It's one of those things where I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but it is like so specifically my cup of tea that I listened to this record. The name of the record is Tormentas Malsanas. And within moments of concluding my first pass through, first off, I was like, I'm going to listen to this 100,000 times. Oh my God. I'm instantly obsessed. I immediately reached out to them on social media. Was like, you have to come on our show. Your record is amazing. It is record of the year, instantly with a bullet, straight to number one. And to my great delight, they said yes. Nothing else has come out in 2024 that has impressed me as much as Las Nubes, Tormentas Malsanas.
Those are some big words. That's great.
I know not everybody's going to love it as intensely as I do, but it is one of those records that almost everybody that is open to me, like providing suggestions to them, like, hey, Jeff, what are you listening to? It's the first thing I recommend. I think they're interesting people, and I think with this episode of Abandoned Albums, you get a lovely guided tour. Because there's a lot to talk about in terms of the multilingual and the politics and where the band is coming from, and there's some connections to other more established bands like Iggy Pop that is worth exploring. There's a lot of cool stories to pull out of Tormentas Malsanas, so I think people are really going to enjoy this episode of the show. And so all of that being said, here's our conversation with Las Nubes.
Hey, Troy. I mean, I'm gonna not pay attention and noodle around.
I appreciate the honesty. Thank you.
That's just my way.
Welcome.
Yeah. So I am in love with your record.
Thank you.
It's every time I listen to it, I find something new in it that I love.
Hell,
I found you via Jonathan Nunez's Instagram page, and he's like, I just finished recording this incredible band from Miami. Jonathan, of course, of Shitstorm and Torch, kind of a Miami, like I guess you would say he's a Miami hero, right?
yeah, he's a legend.
Consider him that. Yeah.
Yeah. I did not realize that he engineered, produced, and mixed. I mean, you got like...
And mastered.
Dude,
Wow.
I do not mind telling you that I listened to another band's record that is shooting for a similar vibe, that I happen to know the price tag of that record. It was close to six figures. It was well into the tens of thousands, and your record sounds 10 times better.
Oh,
Take it.
thank you.
So mad props to you all and to Mr. Nunez for putting that special sauce that he brought to the table, because is it a phenomenal sounding record.
Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you. We're pretty stoked on it as well. It's like we've been sitting on it for 2 years, just like wanting to release it and just having to wait and wait and wait. And we're so glad that it's finally out in the world.
And so far, everyone except for one guy on Rate Your Music really loved it. So
Pro tip, never look at Rate Your Music.
hey, whatever. It's and for what it's worth, what he wrote about it is kind of like fine. He just only gave it 3 stars, so
Well, fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy, indeed. Can I ask why you had to sit on it for 2 years?
Well,
So we were pretty much writing and recording all of these songs at the beginning of the pandemic, throughout the whole pandemic.
and before,
And
some
before,
of them
yeah.
before.
I always forget about that damn thing.
But I know,
I'm
right?
starting to forget about it,
Yeah.
which is good. Yeah.
I'm like, where did those 4 years go? But no, like once we started recording, it was just kind of a long process. And during that time, we were also, going through some like growing pains of band members and just changing things out a little bit. The dynamic, the lineup. Basically, Emily and I recorded the entire record ourselves.
Under duress.
Yeah,
that wasn't the plan.
that was not the plan, but that's what ended up happening. And along the way, we were also trying to shop it around for like a decent label to put it out. We have always put stuff out either DIY or with like a lot of smaller labels, and we really felt that this record was just that special that we wanted something bigger to come from it. And like we were able to put out 2 singles with Thurston Moore's record label, Ecstatic Peace Library, which was fucking awesome. But then, like we just put out the singles with them, and then we decided, let's just put this whole thing out ourselves, collaborating with Sweat Records from Miami, Spinda Records from Spain, and our friends at Godless America, who put out the cassette.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Now, is Thurston running his label like hands-on? Are you like emailing with Thurston, or he's got people to do that?
I think his wife Emma handles most of it. It seems
cool.
It seems like that project is more her baby than his baby. And I think they have some folks helping. But yeah, I mean, we're friendly with Thurston. That's sort of how it like came to be. So, I don't know. I wonder if there was never Thurston in the picture, if like a decent or bigger label would have had interest to do those singles. I don't know.
We had like a lot of people reaching out, and funny enough, once the first couple singles had already been put out,
Yeah.
we got hit up by a few decent labels that were like, "Oh my god," because we did the whole like cold emails and going through the demo submission.
Yeah, we got a lot of this went to our spam. This went to our, and it's like, all right.
Yeah, like a lot of people were like, "Oh my god, I'm just listening to this now. I'm so sorry I didn't hear it sooner. It's amazing. I wish I could have put it out." And how it goes.
Day late and a dollar short.
Yeah.
Exactly. We're like, whatever.
I can see this record back when Geffen was a thing, and
for sure,
everybody wanted to say, DreamWorks was a thing. Like, I could see the late 90s labels lining up with trucks full of cash to sign you.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Just like a big truck full of cash.
I would even like a Tonka truck full of cash at this point. Hot Wheels where you can pop the trunk and just stuff like $20 in there. I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I ever did qualify as multilingual, it would be with German. So I'm here to help you with all of your KMFDM lyrics.
Cool.
Spanish, on the other hand, a little more difficult for me. So if I mispronounce something,
Okay.
you have free reign to correct me and set me on the correct course, because I think that's my greatest fear here, is that possibility exists.
Pop quiz. How do you say our band name?
Las Nubes.
Right.
You went. Got it.
All right. Well, I'm 1 for 1 so far.
Well, hold on. How are people mispronouncing that?
Oh,
Even I.
There's so many different things.
Noobs. I get you get noobs a lot.
Yeah.
a lot.
All the time. It's like, no, that's not it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people try. Some people don't.
So let's lean into that, because I do have Google. All right, that's available to me.
Yeah, there's a really if you look up how to pronounce it on pronounce-my-name.com.
Yeah.
There's a really funny. Wait, I'm gonna play it just because.
Yeah,
it's
well,
fucking.
Oh boy,
I'm gonna cue that up.
has real potential.
Yeah. It's
Here we go. Let's see.
pronouncenames.com.
It's got a beat.
I like the sad piano in the bathroom. Sad piano.
We've been considering sampling that and just
Yeah.
playing it before every show.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
On the road just to do that.
love that.
Wonderful.
But I am led to believe that it maybe comes from a larger phrase, estar en las nubes, which would translate to be in the clouds. Am I close on are we cloud oriented here, or am I way off?
Well, no, it is the clouds. That's definitely what the name means, but it comes from the name of Emily's partner's mom. She has a coffee farm in Nicaragua called Finca
Or Hacienda.
Hacienda Las Nubes.
Oh wow, cool.
Yeah, so that's where we got the name from.
Very cool.
Okay, love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny how it works because it's Las Nubes and we, play or, for different audiences who speak different languages. So, in English, people are saying Las Nubes. Obviously, it means the clouds, but it would be weird if we were the clouds. Hey, we're the clouds in English. So that's a kind of a big thing for us too, I guess. Not only in the name, but in, how we have lyrics in English and Spanish and sort of play to their strengths, certain things we do in certain languages because it works better in one over the other.
Oh,
So, yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. Take me all the way back to SMVT. What do those letters mean, if anything?
So it's it was actually our old name, Smut. I started off just playing solo. And it was kind of one of those, I had another band that was supposed to tour, but then last minute, the people in the band couldn't come anymore. So then, yeah, I ended up doing the tour by myself, and having to write an entire set just in a matter of weeks. And I was like, okay, what am I going to call this project? And I don't know why the first thing that came to mind was the word smut. And so that's what I went by for a few years. And then fast forward to us working at the record store, and a friend of ours, John McHale, who's a promoter here in Miami, came in asking me, because he had heard my songs before, and he asked me if I wanted to open for Shonen Knife. And they were going to play at Churchill's, which is like a legendary venue here. And I was like, yeah, I'm down, but I don't want to play by myself for a show that big. So Emily was there and was like, I'll play drums.
I'm really good at inserting myself into situations where maybe people don't want me, but then
I had no choice. She was just twisting my arm.
I was also your boss, so what were you going to say?
Yeah, she was going to fire me. If I didn't say.
Hey, wait a minute. That's illegal.
You're right. I should sue for
Far more inappropriate things happened at that record. Closing myself on playing drums.
That's true. So yeah, in that time we just found someone to play bass with us. And then for a while we would play under the name Smut, but there was another band called Smut, and they were starting to become really popular.
Whatever happened to them?
I have no fucking clue. They're from Ohio, I think.
Well, that explains it.
And then so I would get friends from LA being like, hey, I saw you were going to be playing tonight. It's like, nope, not me. So we decided to change the name from Smut to Las Nubes.
Well, we did the V.
That's true. We changed it to Smut with a V, but then people were not understanding, and
we opened for Jens Lekman, and he's like, I'd like to thank SMVT, and we were like, oh no.
Yeah, we're like, this is not going to work. This is not going to work. So yeah, and in that time we were also recording the first album, so we were like, let's just name it, Las Nubes Smut, because it's kind of like in this transitional period, so it's kind of like saying goodbye to that name.
And people still had the familiar name like tacked to it while we had the new name.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Songs Ohio Magnolia Electric Company move.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
I feel like that was what, 2017, 2018?
It's 2019 is when the first record came out.
Yeah.
June 4th, 2019.
You did a split with another fantastic band that I like a lot called Palomino Blonde. And I feel like the two songs on that split were indicative of the evolution of your sound from the first to the new record.
Well, we recorded those with Jonathan. The first record we did not record with Jonathan.
So. Yeah. Well, also the style that the songs were going to, I think. I was listening to a lot of Hum and Nothing, and just those like, kind of shoegazy but heavy sounding bands, like almost towing the line of new metal, but not really.
New gaze.
There you go. New gaze.
I'm fond of grunge gaze.
Grunge gaze. Okay.
Nice. Yeah. So we kind of wanted to go a little heavier, but still have the super catchy melodies. And you know, we also are huge fans of Unwound, so a lot of, you know, things that we do on there, like, at least speaking from my perspective, like the lead in Tarariad was definitely kind of inspired by that style of music. And yeah, just making it heavier in general, for sure.
But as someone that just did a 5-song EP at Matt Talbot's place, I knew there's a reason we would be kindred spirits. I'm a big Hum nerd, so love it.
Nice. Hell yeah.
Demon Eyes was a killer track. Track. And I was a little surprised that it wasn't on Tormentas Malsanas. Was that always intended to be like we recorded these 2 songs in this one session, like in a silo, and then the new album kind of had its own merit?
Yeah, that's what we were always aiming for. And it's kind of hard, like promo wise too, when you're putting out a new album and it has 2 songs that have already come out years before. It's a little, you know, those people have heard those songs already for so long that I don't think it would have made sense to include it on the album, even though we love those songs.
Yeah, even re-recording them would have made no sense.
Yeah.
We even, it's been tricky with Tormentas, with the singles having come out last year, because those are sort of like already online and we had to make, you know, minor edits to them to be able to put them on the album. And it was like this annoying back and forth with the digital distributor that I was just like clawing my fucking eyes out. Like, please guys, like, I swear the song is quote unquote different. Like, you know, we have the rights to distribute this one. It's not the same exact thing. It's literally like 5 seconds longer and it has this sampled at the end. This one has been remixed, blah, 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 blah. We even called them different things. So,
wow.
Yeah, I know. It was so much fun.
It's a process. Yeah.
Yeah.
Keith, you're going to think that I'm doing this intentionally. I promise I did not seek this band out specifically for this connection, but it exists, so we're going to talk about it.
Oh, you know about the time I met Whitney Houston? Did you want to hear about it?
I absolutely want to hear about that. Yes. Elaborate, please.
No. I'm just making a joke about it. I did meet Whitney Houston, though. I can tell you later.
You mentioned Would Be, you know, the 2 singles that sort of receded the full album release. We were very lucky to have Biss on the podcast many years ago, who I will remind our listeners were responsible for the Powerpuff Girls theme song.
Yeah.
I would like to invoke the Powerpuff Girls and hear the story about Would Be from the opening track from the new album.
That was one song that was definitely written during the pandemic. And one day, Emily and I were at work we were working at the record store, and I don't know how it came up, but we found out that they were going to be remaking the Powerpuff Girls as like a live action show on the CW, and that Diablo Cody was going to be directing it. And we were like, fuck, wouldn't it be cool if we could just write the soundtrack, or even just like the opening, you know, theme song for it?
Yeah.
And literally that same day, I just went home and I wrote the song, and dude, I don't know, in like 5 minutes, it just came out of me. Like the lyrics, the riff, the melody, everything just came out. And I sent it to Emily. She was like, dude, this is awesome.
Well, we ended up you want to make it longer.
Yes.
And then we were like, no.
Well, no, there was like, I had added a different chorus to it, but it was too like on the nose for a Powerpuff Girls show. So we were like, let's just dial it back and make it more for us.
Yeah.
And so I just didn't, what we had heard was that the show was going to kind of be like them as adults and just kind of wanting to get their childhood back in a way, because they spent their entire childhood fighting crime and being superheroes. So they never got to be kids. So I kind of used that as inspiration for the lyrics in a way, but I was also feeling very, I mean, this is going to sound so lame, but I was about to turn 30 and like in the middle of the pandemic, in the shutdown, and like not being able to celebrate or hang out, and like our career as a band was kind of just going up, and then it went drastically down when everything shut down. So there was just like a lot of shit going through my head also, and I felt like that kind of resonated with me in a way. And I was like, I don't know, just the passing of time and wanting to go back and relive certain moments and just cherish them. You know, that's mainly what the song is about.
And the title is just the notes that I had on the demo. It just said Powerpuff Girls would be, like the would be song for it. Like the title just sort of, it works in the context of, you know, whatever, but it just came from that. So it's sort of a, happy accident title.
Wow.
And so is that sort of awareness of your age and how things are changing around you culturally? I really like the lyric, I know the more I give, the less I'll get back.
Yeah.
Can we drill into that line specifically?
Look.
Yeah. I mean, I was also going through a relationship where I felt like I was just giving a majority of myself to this person, and they weren't really reciprocating that at all. And yeah, also just thinking, you know, if I was a Powerpuff Girl and I'm just out here fighting crime, like, I don't know, I feel sometimes people would be in a way expecting that, or like just kind of being ungrateful in a way. So it's like, you know, they're superheroes, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, but a lot of people aren't really empathetic or don't realize that they also have feelings too, I guess. I don't know. I went down a rabbit hole with the mindset of what it must feel like to be a superhero fighting crime. And so yeah, that's pretty much where that comes from.
You mentioned turning 30. There was a quote that I read. I don't know who said it. The quote in your bio. The quote is, the pain of getting older without a lucid understanding of where you're going. And I was like, man, that just hit home.
Yeah.
And I got a few years on you guys. I'm like, wow, fuck. That was really good.
It was just one of those moments too. Like I said, you know, we had, and in 2019, at the end of 2019, we played with Iggy Pop. We did we backed him up as the Stooges essentially. And, you know, all this stuff was happening. We went on tour in Mexico. It was amazing. And then boom, everything just shut down. And it just felt like this is all we have going. Like, this is our life. This is what we do for a living. And now it's gone, and we can't, you know, go out and play shows. We can't do a lot of things that you know, you're required to do when you're performing and playing in a band. And so it just kind of felt like, I don't know, what is it? Like the feeling of just getting older and just, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Like, And
Existential.
essential. Yeah,
Yes.
essentially, that's what this song is about.
We will move on to another tune, but I want to tip my cap. There is a build at the 1 minute mark where you're kind of exiting the intro portion of the song and making a transition. And there's a half step key change and then another half step key change where you essentially modulate over 15 seconds. And it's fucking awesome.
Thanks.
It's really fabulous. Hang on a minute. I feel like we should call a timeout here. How does one become the backing band for Iggy Pop? That's a big deal, right?
Yeah. I mean, how did that happen?
He asked us.
Yeah. Well, he's kind of like a regular or was not a regular, but he would just come into
He knew us from the record store.
Yeah, he would come into the record store often, and we what is it, like he asked me to be in a music video for him one time, and then he shortly after
He played us on his show.
he's played us on his show. Shortly after that, he was doing a show for Art Basel, for Snapchat and Gucci, and needed a band. It was just like this random one-off, super short set of 5 songs, and we were like, fuck yeah. So we did that.
That's awesome.
That's insanely cool.
Yeah.
He's awesome. We love Iggy.
Indeed.
I feel like we're going to have a lot of synergy here where Iggy mentioned, and it's something that you actually put in your press kit. Iggy said, Las Nubes are far and away the hottest band in Miami and the most socially relevant. What makes you a socially relevant band?
I have no idea.
I mean, I don't know.
I talk a lot when I'm drunk, so I guess that's social.
Emily and I, aside from being heavily involved in the music scene, working at Sweat Records for over a decade.
We don't work there anymore.
There's
been a lot of misconception about that in interviews and in things we've been doing.
We also
lately,
we also volunteer for Miami Girls Rock Camp. Emily is actually one of the co-founders. And we're just really involved. I don't know, we try to encourage kids and encourage just people in general to play music. And we also have done benefit shows and do stuff like that often. I don't know, it just seems like
we give a shit.
Yeah, it just seems like something everyone should do, right? I don't know.
Well, I think Keith and I are probably pretty simpatico on your politics, but we have
definitely.
It's things that he and I think we should give a shit about. It's not as widely shared as maybe we might prefer.
Yeah, it's true. It's crazy that, like I said, we volunteer for Miami Girls Rock Camp, and there are people out there that actually have a problem with Miami Girls Rock Camp or just Girls Rock Camp in general. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
What is wrong with you? So it's like, oh, so do you have a problem with Girl Scouts and things like that too? I don't know. It's weird.
Well, hold on. Look, do you make them wear costumes?
Do we
Like
make
like Girl Scouts? Like Girl Scouts have to wear.
No, they're allowed.
Oh, okay. All right.
They wear whatever they want. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's rock and roll. I get it. Okay.
Yeah. Birmingham has a killer girls rock scene too. So I get it. It's an incredible organization, something great to be a part of.
Yeah.
The first song I heard off the record was Pesada. When you Google translate that one, it comes back as heavy or hard. And I thought, well, musically, mission accomplished. That song is super heavy.
Mhm.
But the more I dig into the lyrics, who are you showing up for? Freedom is nice when it's easy, and dismantle the archetype. I don't know that the song title has anything to do with the heaviness of the music. Can we talk about that song?
Yeah, that song also written during the pandemic, during the George Floyd riots and all that, protests, Black Lives Matter, and like I don't know, it was such a strange time to be just like on the internet in general. And I don't know. I think what bothered me more than anything was like the performative activism that a lot of people, especially a lot of white people, were doing, and just like posting infographics without any of their own thoughts or opinions, just like reposting things to show people that like they care about a cause, but not really actually showing up to protests or doing really much of anything about it. And I think just in particular too, there were a few friends of mine that I was close to that were doing that, and like shaming other people for not posting as much. And I was just like, oh God, this is fucked up. Like, I don't know, it really did not sit well with me, that whole side of it. And like the fact that people lost sight of what the conversation was actually about. So that's essentially what that song is about.
There's a reference on, I think it's on your Spotify page, where they're describing the band, and they're talking about wanting to stand up to injustice in a productive way. Can I draw a parallel to that song when talking about standing up to injustice in a productive way?
Yeah, I would say so. Like, just be proactive. Like, don't just talk the talk.
For sure. Now the video for Pesados, right?
Mm-hmm.
I said to Jeff earlier, I'm a huge advocate for psychedelics, and I'm like, well, thank God that wasn't a dose day when I watched that, because wow. Did you guys shoot that yourselves? That's incredible. It was an incredible video. Well done.
Emily's partner shot it. She's the director. She has a really great eye. She's also our art director, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, we call her that when we need to get crew into an event for free. So
There you go.
yeah, she's done a bunch of stuff for us over the years, including like album covers, layouts, t-shirt designs, videos.
She does like this really cool video collaging thing though that I've seen her post about often, and I really, really wanted that side of her art to be included. So that's why there's, the gators and the birds and just like that combination of nature and whatever the fuck we're doing in the video.
Indeed, it's a very cool video. Very
Thank
cool.
you. Yeah, we shot it in my yard on a Sunday afternoon.
I bet the neighbors loved it.
Oh, I mean, there were actually surprisingly, no neighbors were walking by.
Oh, okay.
Maybe like my next door neighbor might have seen us in the corpse paint and thought, "Ooh, these bitches are crazy." But no one ever like said anything or laughed at us. It was pretty chill, honestly.
Good.
Are those hand claps on Silhouetted Man? Are there hand claps in the mix somewhere?
Yes, and we wish they were louder. That one was mostly inspired by like broken social scene, and we just wanted to include hand claps, but they didn't come out as loud as we wanted them to.
Let's I feel like the first 3 tracks are pretty consistent in terms of punchiness. We kind of get a change of flavor with Caricia. Again, am I pronouncing it right?
Caricia.
Caricia. I think for the first time, I drew a parallel to Lush with some of the real shoegazy stuff going on. Let's talk guitar pedals, because it seems like there was some really cool tones in that song and some maybe experimentation that was different for you all. Any particular piece of gear go into that song that you want to brag on?
Sorry. Knock me off the chair. Sorry. I'm trying to grab my pedal board so I can see.
I feel like we also used some of John's shit, no?
Yeah, we definitely used some of John's pedals, but I will say, okay, so we got
Dog hair.
a lot of dog hair, but this right here is the Nunez pedal. I don't know
Yep.
if you're familiar with his stuff, but wow, he makes really fucking awesome pedals. So this is pretty primarily what's responsible for most of the distortion and, you know, just heaviness of the tone. And then, I mean, I love using this avalanche run, especially when it comes to making like super dreamy, ambient-ish sounding stuff. And then this carbon copy I use for like as a short delay. But yeah, like Emily said, John also has a gajillion pedals in his studio, and for every take he'd be like, okay, try this one. We record it, and then he'd be like, okay, now try this one, and now try this one. So there could very well be like 18 different pedals on that song. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, I would say these three are like the main ones that I use.
And since she pointed to it for the listening audience, that was the Tetrafet overdrive from Nunez amps.
Yeah.
If you wanted to look it up, it is a big dog when it comes to fuzz.
Oh yes.
That's a 10-minute like shoegaze epic. That's a killer track.
Yeah.
And for the
That guy
first time,
I hated it.
that's where we hear the lyric Julio me trajo tormentas malsanas. So was that ever considered the title track?
Yeah. So funny enough, the album was originally going to be called Another Day of Nothing, which is a lyric in The Weeks That Follow, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. But then, as I sometimes often tend to do, I change my mind last minute a lot. And I had that Caricia was actually finished in the studio. We didn't finish writing it before, and the demo is actually a little shorter. And that poem at the end, I wrote like maybe a week or something before we finished recording it. And you know, I had told Emily before that I think the album title needs to be in Spanish, but I couldn't really come up with anything. We were kind of just trying, like, saying lyrics back and forth, and I was like, oh, that's not really. And then, you know, we did that poem for Caricia, and we were like, okay, I think it's going to be Tormentas Malsanas. It just makes sense because the album in general just feels like different weather events going on at the same time, and it just, I don't know, it just made sense to name it that.
And the translation is
Unhealthy storms.
Although some people hear it as Tormentas Manzanas, which would be apple storms. So that's been kind of funny too.
Yeah.
Unhealthy Storms.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that too. Enredados took me back to a time when I was very small and discovering music on my own for the first time. And I will never forget the impression that the back-to-back tracks of Vamos into Isla de Encanto on the Pixies' Come On Pilgrim made on me. The first time I think I'd ever heard music in a foreign language that it did not matter. It was like I was enchanted by it. It was amazing. So that particular track invokes a very Pixies memory for me. And I think the more I listened to it, and I actually went back and listened to Come On Pilgrim because of this. I hear some Kim Deal in your voice.
Damn, I just like fainted a little bit when you said that. That's awesome. Thank you. I love Kim Deal. I love the Breeders. Like we're often compared to them a lot.
Some good things come from Ohio. It's okay.
There you go. Some good.
No, that's true.
Keith also is from Dayton, and let's not forget Guided by Voices.
Guided by Voices, yeah.
Evo.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, I'm done.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean that Enredados is like our kind of short punky blast in a different time signature. That's the thing, like for me, if you're gonna make a song that's like easily digested or whatever, at least throw something in there to make it just a little different. So that's why we went for the 5/4 time signature. I don't even know. I don't
I'm
count.
the drummer. Why would I know that? I've actually never even. I don't like.
I think it's 5/4.
I just feel it, baby. And I don't know.
Oh no, it's
I don't think it's 5.
no, it's 7/4.
That would make sense.
For Batman. 3, 1.
Oh.
Yeah, 7. That was 4.
My next listen through of this album is going to be very different.
Yeah.
If I hear Batman, I'm going to find you.
Well, the weeks that followed is in 13/9.
So, Agua Plastica could have been the lead single to me. I mean, it's very accessible.
Unpopular opinion.
I think a more traditional record label would say it's the lead single, except it's 5.5 minutes long.
Yeah.
It'd be the only strike against it, but otherwise, the hook is there for sure.
It's in Portuguese too. Yeah, like we had considered maybe making that one a single, but yeah, it's like over 5 minutes long. So I don't know if people have the patience for that.
I don't know.
No.
Wrong guy to ask.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
I wanted the single from my album to be the 7-minute one, so okay.
Yeah.
Following that though is Weeks That Followed, and that's my favorite track on the record. I think The Weeks Follow is an incredible song.
Our favorite too.
Popular opinion.
Yeah.
Is it? Good. I particularly like the lyric, "How can you sleep at a time like this?" And the moment's gone, it's no longer sacred. What moment is no longer sacred?
That song is about a friend of ours who gave birth and her child died like in the hospital while she was like giving birth. So I don't know. I feel like even though it didn't happen to us, it's still like we felt it in a way, and we kind of felt it for her too. It was like her first kid, and it kind of, I don't know, it affected me a lot, and I just like thought about it often, and that's where that comes from. Yeah, like the moment's gone, it's no longer sacred. Like a moment of you're anticipating it for 9 months. You know, you're thinking about like going to the hospital and what it's going to feel like to hold your baby for the first time, and that just goes away. So yeah.
Ouch.
There's a lot of heaviness on this record.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Unhealthy storms.
You made the comment that a lot of these songs were written when I thought the world was going to end.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it kind of did for a little bit.
Certainly got put on pause.
Now it feels more like the
Yeah.
world's gonna end.
Now it feels like it's on
Yeah.
fucking fire.
True.
But
Yeah.
Sarah McLachlan
Yeah.
already wrote that song about the world being on fire, and Charles Bradley. So we need to come up with a new angle for the next.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I also was trying to just personally not only write about relationships or like what I knew exactly. I was trying to just get inspiration from different places and just force myself to write a song in the perspective of someone else. I've never done
That's
that
great.
before. So
And what were your inspirations?
well that I would say like I guess Pesada to a certain extent can be interpreted as that. Silhouetted Man is about my cousin Louie who passed away due to a drug overdose. And what else? Like Agua Plastica is about our bassist Nina being pregnant on tour. I'm like, what other songs are on the record? I don't remember.
Caminar Sola is a story.
Caminar Sola is like about I mean, it's a story that we can relate to though. It's about walking alone at night and being assaulted by someone. Like I just also as a woman, walking alone at night and being assaulted, and how sometimes you have to fight back. And then what else?
Comes as a relationship one.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would say like maybe half of the record is trying to take inspiration from other experiences. Oh yeah. And I guess Would Be too.
Would Be's.
It's like
Yeah.
I put myself in the mindset of a superhero and what they must feel like, Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I am eagerly awaiting my. I love the color that you chose for the vinyl, by the way.
It's yellow.
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to say that in written interviews, I guess.
Oh well, I took it as more Gatorade, more lime Gatorade than.
I was just jokingly calling it Vitamin Kiss Yellow for a while.
Yeah.
They're like, we can't actually put that in writing. I'm like, I know. So I call it Petrichor vinyl. It's the color of a smell.
Yeah. Looking forward to the vinyl.
It should be coming to you soon. Did you get tracking?
I did. I got an email, so I'm kind of hoping that I get back
from on Monday
vacation and it's sitting on my table.
Yeah,
it'll be swell.
Good.
I hope other people react to the record the same way I did, which is with joy and giddiness and excitement. It's.
When I first heard it, I was like, "This is totally in Jeff's wheelhouse." It's like,
thank you. We hope so too. I think honestly, like things kind of just started off a little bit slow moving, with the record and the new songs, but now we're kind of starting to see and hear from a lot of people how much they like it, and I think good things will happen.
And now we're doing the tour.
Tours,
lots
of tours.
Yes.
Like the tours are gonna be great, and there are things happening that are also going to help. Hopefully, I can't say what it is yet, but you'll see. You'll see.
So big news coming.
Yeah,
we're just gonna tease it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations ahead of time.
For sure.
Wait, are you pregnant?
No.
Okay, good.
Do either of you have kids?
No, we teach kids though.
I have 2 cats and 2 dogs. Yeah.
Oh, that's enough.
Yeah,
Plenty.
I have 2 cats and 1 dog and a 45-year-old baby.
No.
Yeah.
That'll happen.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us. It really is a tremendous record, and I look, depending on what happens, I think with the election, there may be plenty of world-ending shit to think about, but maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe
we'll
it'll
see.
all work out and be okay, and maybe the next one will be a happy Forgets record.
Concept album about peanut butter.
Yeah.
It hasn't
I'm
been
here.
done yet.
Sign me up
Yes.
for sure.
Thanks so much.
Likely more world of things to include.
Thank you. I wish you continued
Thank you.
success. Nothing but the best.
You really
Yeah,
appreciate
ladies,
it.
thank you very, very much.
Take care,
Bye.
guys. Bye.
Thanks to Las Nubes for sharing their story with us.
This episode of Abandoned Albums was written and produced by Keith R. Higgins and Jeff Calhoun. The show was recorded at Thunderlove Studio, where it was engineered by
Daphne Morris,
with help from
Penetration.
Abandoned Albums was edited by
Vic Titball,
with help from
Clem Fandango.
At the beginning of this podcast, you were treated to a diverse selection of music, including the soulful sounds of Forever by Little Steven and the Disciples of Soul, the indie vibes of Velvet Roof by Buffalo Tom, and the raw energy of Nevermind by The Replacements. Our theme song is Kiss the Earth by The Renegades. You can stream all of these artists wherever you stream your favorite music. The songs you heard during this podcast were The Weeks That Followed, Tararia, Demonize, Would Be, Pasada, Silhouetted Man, and Caritia. All of these songs are on the Las Nubes Bandcamp page, which we've linked to in the show notes. Please remember to support independent artists.
Original music by Mike Pellegrino.
If you like what you've heard, please remember to subscribe and leave us a rating. It helps other people find the podcast. Thanks for listening.
Grazie.
Bailey Leaf,
Rob Janicki. Mike Pellegrino. Thurina Vella.
Eric Beatner, S.W. Loudon, Ronnie Barnett,
Michael Janicki. Peyton Janicki.
This show's executive producer is Lulu McGillicuddy and is in the loving memory of
Lucas Standout.
Abandoned Albums receives funding from Damon Pharmaceuticals, the makers of Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck is the only chewable tablet made to combat stomach unease associated with mediocrity. Taken daily, Ben Affleck can help combat explosive gastrointestinal shame. You can find a multitude of flavors in the incontinence section of your local pharmacy. Ben Affleck, save yourself the embarrassment.
The side effects include dry mouth, headache, anal leakage, muscle soreness, bad decisions, gender confusion, constipation, evil spirit possession, and banality. Use only as directed.
And now, until we meet again next time, I remain as always, obediently yours.
Abandoned Albums is a production of Paw Print Media.